reach any decision. And sometimes the emotions will have to be set aside, and other times the reason will have to be set aside. But in general, a happy medium is important. I had a recent situation where I have a lot of emotion, tied into a relationship, and I had to make a decision based on reason. And that reason brought me to the conclusion that although this relation is important to me, that it might not be the relationship I thought it was. That my perception of what that relationship was could be different than that other person's. So I had to go with my reasoning on that relationship and just let it go, and realize that some relationships you just can't master. You just can't hold on to. Now consider, for example, those who are in love. They will do anything for their beloved. They are putty in the hands of others. They rarely amount to anything because they barely have no purpose of life on their own. You might wonder if this danger means that it would be safer and wiser to control your life strictly on the basis of reason and leave emotion out of every decision. The answer is an emphatic no. Don't forget your emotions provide your driving power, the activating force which enables us to put our decisions into action. If we destroy hope, faith, what would there be to live for? If we killed enthusiasm, loyalty, and desire, but still retained reason, what good would reason be? It would still be there to provide direction, but what would it direct? We must control and direct our emotions, not abolish them. Besides, abolition would be an impossible task. Emotions are like a river. Their power can be dammed up and released under control and direction, but it cannot be held forever in check. Sooner or later, the dam will burst, unleashing catastrophic destruction. Boy, these guys know emotions, right? There's some really good counsel in here about, where to be when it comes to our emotions. Now, self-discipline essentially calls for balancing that. And when we find ourselves in love, don't be putty in the other person's hands. We'll rarely amount to anything because we'll have no purpose of our own. It's just so difficult to look back on my own past and see the time I've wasted allowing others to have possession of my mind and control of my future, and so on and so forth. Now, the counsel goes on to say that we must control and direct our emotions, not abolish them altogether, because it's like a river and we can't dam up that river forever. So be mindful of that. Now, our negative emotions can also be controlled and directed. I'd like to propose that we can turn those negative emotions into something that's positive for our life. But the book says that PMA and self-discipline can remove the harmful effects of negative emotions and make them serve constructive purposes. Sometimes fear and anger will inspire intense action, but we must always submit our negative emotions and our positive ones to the examination of our reason before releasing them. Emotion without reason is a dreadful enemy. What faculty provides the crucial balance between emotion and reason? It is our willpower or ego, a subject which will be explored in more detail below. Self-discipline will teach us to throw our willpower behind either reason or emotion and amplify the intensity of their expression. Now, both our heart and our mind need a master, and they can find that master in our ego. However, our ego will fill this role only if we use self-discipline. In the absence of self-discipline, our mind and heart will fight their battles as they please. In this situation, the person within whose mind the fight is carried out often gets badly hurt. That's some good counsel, and they obviously have shown that they understand emotions when they've published this book. And really, guys, I think it all comes down to how we control our emotions. Or at least it did for me. But there's the big four as well. Our self-discipline will not only control our emotions and balance our reason, but also be incredibly useful in four highly important areas: our appetite, our positive mental attitude, our time, and our definiteness of purpose. So that's that's the big four. And one of the big four is appetite. Too much food, drink, and other influences, such as drugs, which is bad for your body, can shorten your life. It can sap your energy and distract you from the work at hand. It isn't necessary to moralize on these points. The empirical effects of not being in control of your appetite are sufficient cause for you to subject your appetites to self-discipline. And I have not myself been able to overcome my appetite. And that is a constant work for me. So, for everybody out there, we're all at different stages and different levels. So welcome to the club. How about your positive mental attitude? Our self-discipline will be highly useful as it relates to our positive mental attitude. Our PMA is the only frame of mind in which we have definiteness of purpose, or in which we can have definiteness of purpose. Through it, we can induce others to cooperate with us and help us. It can also attract the power of infinite intelligence by applying our faith. Self-discipline assures us that our mental attitude to attract the things we want and to repel the things that threaten us. How about time? Self-discipline can influence time. There's an old saying that wasting time is sinful. Most people waste enough time in gossip alone to earn them all the luxuries they envy in others. Time is your most precious asset. If used correctly, it is like money in the bank. We must spend it under strict discipline. One of the easiest ways to do this is to schedule our time.